Hi everyone, today we are going to start 5.5, which is use inequalities in triangles. Avoid errors. Be careful not to confuse the symbol for angle with the symbol that's meaning less than. They do look similar. So this symbol right here means angle, and this symbol right here is less than. Notice that the bottom edge of the angle symbol is horizontal. In any triangle, the longest side is always opposite of the largest angle. So once again, the longest side of the triangle is always opposite of the largest angle. And the shortest side is always opposite of the smallest angle. The shortest side is always opposite of the smallest angle. So if you look at our diagram here, this red line, which now I will create purple, is the longest side, meaning that this angle is the largest angle. This blue side, which I'm now making purple, is the shortest side, meaning that the opposite angle here would be the smallest angle. So now that we know this, let's list the sides and angles in order from smallest to largest. So let's start with the easy one, which is the angles. We already know all the angles. So the shortest or smallest angle is 29 degrees. Then we go up to 30 degrees. And then finally, our largest angle is 121 degrees. So now let's figure out what the sides are. So the smallest side is opposite of the smallest angle. So if I find my smallest angle, which we said was 29, the opposite side is ST. So ST is the shortest side. 30 is our medium size angle, which means RS is going to be the next side. Our largest angle is 121, so the opposite side then is going to be the longest side, which in this case is RT. So we just listed everything from shortest to smallest, or smallest to largest. Let's try this again. List the sides and the angles in order from smallest to largest. So now we are given the sides. So let's start there. So what's the shortest side? It'd be 22, which is AC. So since this is the shortest side, let's figure out what the smallest angle is. Well, opposite of the shortest side would be the smallest angle, which is angle B. The next largest side then would be 24, which is side AB, which means our second angle, or the angle in the middle, would be angle C. And finally, our longest side of the triangle is 26, which is side BC, meaning that our largest angle would be angle A. Now we're going to try this one last time. So if we look at our triangle, we're actually missing an angle. I know that this angle here is 90 because of that marking. This angle here is 32. So what would the measure of angle K have to be? Well, we know that the angles in the triangle add up to 180, meaning K would have to be 58. All right, so now that I know K is equal to 58, let's start with our angles and our sides. So the smallest angle then would be 32 degrees, which I guess I should write angle L. Opposite of angle L would be side KJ. And so that would be our shortest side. Our next angle would be 58 degrees, which would be angle K. The opposite side of angle K would be JL. So that's our medium size side length. And then finally, 90 degrees is our largest angle measure, which is angle J. And opposite of angle J is KL. And we're done. You are constructing a stage prop that shows a large triangular mountain. The bottom edge of the mountain is about 27 feet long. The left slope is about 24 feet long, and the right slope is about 20 feet long. You are told that one of the angles is about 46 degrees and one is about 59 degrees. What is the angle measure of the peak of the mountain? All right, so if I look at my picture here, I see that I have a triangle. So let's start marking what we know. So we know that the bottom edge of the mountain is 27 feet. So that would be that side length there. We know the left slope is about 24 feet. So that would be here. And we know that the right slope is 20 feet. So that would be here. We are told that one angle is 46 and the other angle is 59. So what is the measure of the peak of the mountain? So first I need to figure out what is the third angle measure. Well, I know that when I add up the three angles, it equals 180. So what must the third angle be equal to? 75. So now that I know that one angle is 46, 59, and 75, I can place them. So 20 is my shortest side length, which means opposite of the 20 side length is going to be my smallest angle measure, which in this case is 46. So 46 has to go right here. Next, we have 24, which would be our medium side length, and our medium angle measure is 59. So 59 has to go here. 27 is our largest side, which means our largest angle has to be opposite of that, which is 75. So when it asks us what angle measure is at the peak of the mountain, well, there's our peak. The answer is 75. The triangle inequality. Not every group of three segments can be used to form a triangle. The lengths of the segments must fit a certain relationship. For example, 3 attempted triangles constructed for sides with given lengths are shown below. Only the first set of side lengths form a triangle. All right, so if I look at these 3 triangles, this first one here, my side lengths are 5, 4, and 2. This creates a triangle. Why? Well, when we add up 4 and 2 together, it is greater than 5. Now let's look at our second example. You notice that our side lengths are 2, 2, and 5. If your side lengths are 2, 2, and 5, they will not touch. This will not connect to this point. Why? Well, when we add up the side lengths 2 and 2, that equals 4. And 4 is not greater than 5. So since this is 5, it's not going to work. And finally, with my third example here, I have a side length of 3, 2, and 5. Well, 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. So if I were to try to connect these together, they would collapse and just create one straight line, which wouldn't create a triangle. So if we read down here, if you start with the longest side and attach the other 2 sides at its endpoint, you can see that the other 2 sides are not long enough to form a triangle in the second and the third figures. This leads to the triangle inequality theorem. Triangle inequality theorem. The sum of the lengths of any 2 triangles of the let's start that over. The sum of the lengths of any 2 sides of a triangle is greater than the lengths of the third side. So what that means, your longest side, the sum of the 2 smaller sides has to be larger than the largest side. So in this example, BA plus BC has to be greater than AC. AC plus BC has to be larger than AB, and AB plus AC has to be larger than BC. So that might have been a little confusing, so let's put some examples together. Could you form a triangle with the given lengths? All right, so first we have 3, 6, and 8. Which side length is the largest? Well, that's obviously 8. 8 is the largest number. So I'm going to take the two smaller numbers and add them up. Well, what is 3 plus 6? Is that greater than 8? It is, because 3 plus 6 is 9. 9 is greater than 8, so this would form a triangle. Let's look at our second example. What is the longest side length? Well, it's 15, which means I need to add up the two smaller side lengths. So 5 plus 8, is that greater than 15? Well, what is 5 plus 8? That is 13. So is 13 greater than 15? No, it's not, meaning that those two sides would not touch. So this would not create a triangle. Let's look at our third example. What is our longest side? Well, it's 11, so I need to add these up. So is 4 plus 7 greater than 11? Well, 4 plus 7 is 11. Is 11 greater than 11? No, this would not create a triangle. Those two sides would collapse and create a line. A triangle has one side of 11 inches and another side of 15 inches. Describe the possible lengths of the third side. For this problem, we're actually going to have two different triangles. So let's draw one triangle. So we know we have a side of 11, 15, and x. Now we don't know what x is, that's what we're searching for. So x could either be less than 15 or greater than 15. So that's where we're going to have two scenarios. So I'm going to draw two triangles, and this is not drawn to scale. So for our first possibility, let's say that 15 is our largest side or longest side. So that means I would have to add up our two smaller sides. So 11 plus x would have to be greater than 15. All right, so let's solve for x here, which means I'm going to subtract 11 from each side. And when I do so, I get x has to be greater than 4. So any number greater than 4 would work here. Let's look at part 2. Okay, so now we're going to say that x is the longest side. So that means I need to add up the two shorter sides. So 11 plus 15 has to be greater than x. Well, let's add those together, 11 and 15. So 26 is greater than x. So now let's write one big inequality. So in this one, we had that x has to be greater than 4. And here we had 26 is greater than x. So x has to be between 4 and 26 for this to be a triangle. So here is our final answer. So once again, x has to be between the numbers 4 and 26 to be able to create a triangle.